Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Mandy, and I like to talk about eyeshadows. Today I have an update for the Enjoy Your Eyeshadows project created here by Deb B. So if you're here for that video, then hit the subscribe button and stay tuned. Alright, this is the Enjoy Your Eyeshadows project. It was created by Deb B here on YouTube, and it is all about using eyeshadows, and it was inspired by all the eyeshadow projects that have been created, like Pan That Palette, and Pan in Every Palette, and Pan Those Eyeshadows, and Palette Love, all of those. And this is a project where you work on your eyeshadows any way you want. There is a list of participants I will have in the description box, hopefully. They are just a few. There's Deb and Dannie and Shelley, and I can't remember anybody else right now. So the way I'm doing this is sort of inspired by J-Lon's Palette Love at J Loves Makeup. And she brings roulettes, different palettes in to use a certain number of times or something like that. I forget. Yeah, each month I'm going to be focusing on using certain palettes, 4 to 5 palettes per month, getting some use out of those, and then rotating them the next month. I have created little flashcards to help me keep track of what shades and how many times I use them. This month I am working on 4 palettes, including my Pan That palette. And if you haven't seen that, then go over and check out the video. But let's get into the palettes I was working on for February. The first one is from BH. It is my Sapphire for September. I have this palette in a couple projects, but I haven't been touching all the shades, just the ones that were in the project, so I wanted to get some more use on all of the shades. Over the last month, I have used the big shade Sapphire once. I've used the green shade Confidence 3 times. I've used this shade Cool twice, Organized AF twice, Sporty twice, and Sympathetic twice. And most of these shades I used in the same look. What did I do? I lightly tapped Sympathetic all over my crease and transition area. Then I put Confident in the inner corner and Organized AF on the outer corner. Topped the middle of the lid with Cool, which is a gorgeous shade. This is, I think, my favorite in this palette. I will give you a swatch of it. It is just this beautiful aquamarine blue color. It's gorgeous. And then my inner corner and inner half of the lid was Cool, which is a beautiful icy blue shade there. And yeah, I really enjoy this palette and look forward to using it more. I did not play with the shade down here in the corner because that is a pressed glitter, and I am not about to try putting pressed glitter on my face. I may do it on nails sometime, but yeah. So not a lot of use on this palette this month, but I really did enjoy the uses, the looks I made with it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to playing with this palette more in the future. The next palette I have is also from BH, and it is their Venom palette. And this is what it looks like here. It is a 9-pan cool, well, gray palette. And over the last month, I've used the shade this one here, Fangs, 5 times. That's what I'm trying to say. This shade here in the middle is Slithering. These 3 are all mattes. And then this one, Bad Blood, I've used both of these 3 times. And I was able to make a complete look out of this palette at least twice. This shade here is called Deadly Bite, and I used that one twice. It is a iridescent, it looks white, but when you swatch it, it has a beautiful blue iridescence to it. So I really enjoyed that. The silver in the middle, that is Under the Skin, and I used that one twice. This one here, Silent Killa. is in one of my projects, and I believe it's in Paranormal Pantivity. I used that 3 times. That is a beautiful like gunmetal gray metallic. Viper Tracks, this pink down here, I used twice. Femme Fatale, this more metallic pink, I used once, and Biter here on the end I used once as well. So I was able to use every shade in this palette at least once. That is my goal most of the time, and trying to make one, I try to make one look from the palette, each palette as a whole, and I really enjoy that. That way I can like have the palette and look at it and see what kind of look I can make, and I really enjoy doing that. It's kind of a challenge sometimes with some of these palettes, but overall I really enjoyed it, and that palette is definitely staying around. Alright, next up is a palette I have not reached for every shade yet, but it has a lot more shades. So this is the Odin's Eye Alva palette, and let me see if I can do it this way. Okay, so this one has 16 shades. Yeah, 16 shades, and I've tried to use most of them, but I have some colors I prefer over others. So the first shade, Jasmine, I have used 3 times. That is a nice transition shade, or lid setting shade, transition. Baby's Breath, I've used once. It is a beautiful gold. Coffee Bean is a dark metallic or dark shimmer brown. I used that one once. This one here, Yellow, is Daisy. I used that one once as well, and I believe I was wearing that in, I might have been wearing that in my Pan That Palette update. I can't remember. I wore it in a video and it was yellow and brown look, so that's what, or yellow and orange, so that's what that was. Down here, Carnation, I have not used yet, but that is a lovely color I'm looking forward to using. The shade next to that, Lotus, is I've used twice. Cherry Blossom, I used once, and that is a stunning shade, sort of a burgundy color. Sunflower, this orange, I used in that same look with the yellow, and that is, I used that once. Dandelion, which is not yellow or pink or orange, it's sort of a pinky purple. I used that one once. Morning Glory, which I believe is in a project, I used 3 times. It's sort of a orangey brown, and I used that with the yellow as well. What is this one? Dahlia, that's on the other side of my card. I used that one once. That's a beautiful purpley pink shimmer. Golden Tulipa, I used once. I think I used that in the same look with those other shades. Camellia, I have used twice, and that's a really lovely sort of a pinky mauve shade. Lilac, I have not used. Peony, I used once, and that is a beautiful sort of purpley, dark purpley brown. And then Cosmos is also in a project, and I used that one 3 times. So in the palette, the only ones I was not able to use yet were Lilac and Carnation. And hopefully I will use those in the future. They're very pretty colors, especially Lilac, because it is a shimmery lilac color. And I'll give you a swatch of that, maybe. Has a very sheer base and then a lilac sheen. So the thing about this palette is some of the shimmers are a beautiful foil metallic, and then some of them, like Cosmos, has more glitter in it, and I don't really like that. So I will give you a comparison of shades so you can see the difference, hopefully. So that is, the top one is Cosmos, and the bottom one is Cherry Blossom. You can see Cherry Blossom has a nice shine to it, and if I get just the right angle, you can see Cosmos has glitters in it. So yeah, I'm not a fan of the glittery formulas, but I really enjoy the smooth metallic creamy formulas. It's just trying to figure out which ones are which, and there's really no way to tell on here that I know of. but I have used this palette and I'm looking forward to using it more in the future. And finally, the last palette, I switched my cards. The last palette I was working on this month is one I'm wearing today, and it is the Ace Beauté Violet Sage palette. This is a beautiful, simple color story. We've got pinks and some reds and purples and lighter purples. This is a sort of a reddy purple, and then a couple greens. I have used every shade in this palette once, with the exception of Anemone, which is this pink here. That is a lovely shimmer. I've used that one twice. I'll give you a swatch of the shimmers because I'm sure that's what we all want to see. There are only 3 shimmers in this palette. So the top one there, very light, that's Anemone. The middle one is Cosmos again, but this is a better Cosmos. And then this one here is called Wisteria. Today in my look, I have violet on the inner half of my lid, hydrangea on the outer half, topped with wisteria over the whole lid, and Cosmos along my lower lash line. And Cosmos is the only one that's in here that's brown. The rest of them, like are true to color, pinks, greens. I really wish there had been like maybe a shimmery, because there's 2 shimmery pinks. I wish maybe one of them had been a green or a purple. That would have been nice to this palette. I wore the shade Sage and Juniper. I paired with a shimmery green single, and those were lovely. And like I said, these 2 I have paired with this one, and that's quite nice. And then I have a couple shades from my Pan That palette pulled in to sort of soften everything up and finish out the look. That is everything I've been working on over the last month. Give me one moment and I will pull palettes to work on for the next month. Okay, so I have 4 palettes that I'm going to be bringing in for working on in the next month, and we'll go over those really quickly. The first one is my Build Your Own palette from Lethal. This is a 6-shade palette. It has a lavender, a metallic purple, and a silver, as well as a teal green, and then a lighter green and darker shimmers. So we'll go over the names of each of the shades next month, but this is a palette I am bringing in to work on. Blue, green, purple, kind of my thing. Next I'm bringing in one that's brand new and I have never tried. This is from Ofra. This is their signature symphony palette, or signature palette in the colorway Symphony. And that is what it looks like there. It's got some mauves and some peachy browns. Looking forward to playing with this and seeing how I like their formula and how these colors look on me. Next we have from Aether Beauty their Moonlight Crystal palette, and more greens and purples and silvers. Very much, this is my jam. This is the colors that I like to use, and yeah, I've only used this palette a few times. I think the colors are very beautiful and I want to get more use out of them, so I'm looking forward to playing with these colors in the next month. Also, I'm doing a lot of traveling, so all these palettes are on the small size. Not going to take any big ones with me because, you know, they take up room, and when you're traveling, that's what you got to do. And the last palette I'm bringing in is from I Heart Revolution, is the Mermaid Heart palette. And this is what it looks like. More teals and blues. This one also has some yellows and browns and some neutrally shades in there. I've only played with these 2 shades in the palette so far because they were in a project. But I'm looking forward to playing with some of these other shades and seeing how they look on me and what looks I can come up with from this palette. So that is everything for this project, which I forgot to tell you started on January 1st and goes until December 31st, and with monthly updates, or bi-monthly. I think it's monthly. Anyway, if you want more information, please check out Deb's channel. I will have her linked in the description, as well as all the other ladies participating. And until my next video, take care of yourselves, be true to you, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!